Morning everyone, just getting today's ride ready on my bicycle computer. I have a bunch of intervals today. It's kind of like a kitchen sink workout. In other words, like you're basically doing a bunch of intervals that make up almost the entire ride. There's not really a section on this ride any longer than like 45 minutes where I'm not doing anything. So this first 90 minutes of the ride, it's going to be quite difficult. So I'm going to get out there and do some intervals. Oh, you're muddy. Sorry about that. I always wonder sometimes if I've left the GoPro running and it's just completely dead and run out of battery and I won't be able to actually film what I want to film, but it looks like it did its job. So anyway, efforts done, ride done. I'm gonna overlay and talk you through a bit about what happened during the ride today. I set off early. I did a load of intervals before I met Anthony for a spin. And it was very much a case of just like talk and ride. Very nice relaxed ride, and we did our usual loop, but before meeting up with Anthony I actually did a whole bunch of efforts that were very specific. And even though I finished this ride, I'll give you a bit of a stat attack. I finished this ride with a normalized power of 272 watts, 200 TSS, an intensity factor of 0.78 for 3 hours and 15 minutes. So there was a lot of intervals in there, and it wasn't just a case of like building up all of that workload with just a very generic kind of hard ride. It was very structured. So like I said before I set off this morning, this was like a kitchen sink workout. And to be honest, the reason why I did it today is more down to the fact that doing efforts under fatigue and with under load is like bread and butter for me. It's actually what I really enjoy doing. I really enjoy doing efforts when I'm tired. And when you enjoy doing something, you tend to like do it quite well. So I made this session today kind of off the top of my head a little bit. I wanted to make it fun. I didn't just want to be putting myself in a hole and kind of, not really enjoying it, because efforts themselves are fine, but when you do them in a big ride, particularly at the end of a ride, and even though a 3-hour ride today isn't exactly big, it can be quite mentally taxing if you do efforts in the last hour, particularly if they're kind of boring efforts. So today I actually did some over and unders to start, to get myself going, so some 30-30s, and you're going to see some of those on the screen. The on periods were like 450 watts, and the off periods were, well, just pretty much off. Whenever I do these sort of intervals, like I never really worry about how much power I'm putting out in the recovery period, as long as it's low enough, unless I'm doing something specific. But in most cases, I'm basically doing like 50 watts. And I actually enjoy doing that, so that's another bonus. So I made my way around the coast, which is a pan flat road, and it's perfect early morning for doing efforts. I'm sure lots of you have got a perfect road to do efforts on. And I made my way around the coast, and after finishing all those over and unders, I went straight into 2 70-minute blocks at FTP. But they weren't, they didn't feel like they were at FTP. They felt like they were kind of, I don't know, either slightly above or slightly below. It's very difficult to like regulate your power, particularly when you're riding at FTP outdoors, because it's neither here nor there. Like it's hard, obviously, but it's not so hard that you can just kind of empty the tank and not kind of worry about what numbers you're reading on the screen. But I try my best to keep it as perfect as possible. Only 5 minutes of rest between those two blocks, so that was pretty taxing. And again, they were done on a flat road. Ideally I do them on a climb, but because I was meeting Anthony, it was the only place I could find to do them. And of course we don't have a climb 17 minutes long near me, or at least nearby enough to warrant doing it. So that's something to think about when I'm upgrading the session in the future. What else was there? The ride with Anthony was pretty chilled. It's funny because Anthony sometimes says that people say, you know, you must be really strong to ride with Ed Laverack. Don't believe everything you hear. I can ride at 50 watts all day. I actually, if I could do a cafe ride every day, I would. Like, I would ride 100 watts every single day. But I know that's not what gets me faster. But today, what does get me faster is actually riding with Anthony, believe it or not. The period where I rode with Anthony, we rode for about, I don't know, 50 minutes at 150 watts. And, you know, obviously everything's relative. So 150 watts for him is not as hard for me, but we decided to do an effort down the Pembury Flats, which is where our time trials are usually held. Anthony turned left up the junction, I turned right, I went up to the roundabout and then chased him down. But I was doing 60-30s, and this was like 2 hours into the ride. I was quite tired, not gonna lie. I had a lot of fatigue in the legs coming off the back of what I've already done this past week. I didn't catch Anthony, but he was doing a complete sustained effort and I was doing over-unders, but it was good fun, and that's a nice way to, like, you know, one, involve somebody else if you're, you know, out riding with somebody else, and two, it's good motivation. So to try to chase him down even though I was doing on-off efforts is pretty fun. And then we got back into town, and then I rode back here and I did a couple of 30-30s to finish, riding back here. So just thought I would talk you through it. It's a biggish ride, only in 3 hours, but there's a lot of work in there, and it's quality at the end of the day. So all is well. Now we've got an easier day tomorrow before time trial in the evening, and then Friday we've got a photo shoot actually with a band of climbers in on the Welsh-English border, so that will be interesting indeed. Thanks for watching everyone, see you soon.